like wife material.
Social in what way?
And like trying to make up conversations with strangers, talk to like basically everyone she comes in contact with. Like initially, I had no problem with it, and but then like she started to like like low key flirt. If you know what I mean.
Low key flirt. How?
Like like just the way she talks. Can't like pinpoint an exact way, but like I just don't like feel comfortable with her doing that.
But like, I need a specific example. Like, what is she doing that makes you feel like she's flirting?
So like when we're on the bus and like we're just sitting there and like a random dude walks by and like they make eye contact for a second. She's like, "Oh, I like I like your outfit. I don't know what stuff like that."
And she's with you while she does it,
Yeah,
and she tells the guy that she likes his outfit.
yeah.
Okay. Okay. What about you? Are you like social like that?
Oh no, like I'm such an introvert. I'm not gonna lie. I'm
Okay.
very introverted.
Okay. Did you tell her stuff like that makes you uncomfortable?
Actually, yeah.
What
A
did
lot
she?
of times I confront her.
So what did she say?
She says that it's her personality and I got nothing to worry about.
Okay.
That she's just nice.
Okay. So far, I would agree with her because she did it in front of you, which would imply that she meant no harm by it. But if that's something at the same time, though, if that's something that you feel like you'll never be comfortable with, then that might not be the right person for you.
What did you say?
I said that. Oh, or like, can you hear me? Is there like a connection issue, or are you just not paying attention?
No, like I heard everything except the last part.
Okay. So at the same time, if that's something that is going to perpetually bother you, then that might not. This might not be the right connection for you.
Bro, like I love you so much, bro. Like you're like I don't know how to tell you this. You're very smart, and I agree with you.
Yeah, I mean, because sometimes it's like a compatibility issue, right? Because it's like what she's doing isn't wrong, right? It's not wrong, but at the same time, if that's going to make you uncomfortable, then that may just not be. It's like, I'll give you an example. It's like somebody. Let's say someone's doing what I'm doing, right? Where I'm a coach, right? And I work with both men and women. Now there may be women who are like, "Oh, it's not comfortable for me that you're actually on the phone talking with these women." Now I'm not wrong for coaching women, but if she's not comfortable with that, then she may not need to be with me. You see what I'm saying?
I understand. I understand. I understand.
Right.
I thank you, bro. Have a good day.
No problem, Chief. You take care. All right. Queen, what's going on?
Yes, I have a big question. So my guy, the thing is, I am one of those, those church people who clean until they reach a certain age, they find one person.
Say that again?
You know those church people who have been clean because they just want one person?
Uh huh.
Yes, so I finally find that one person. And sometimes when I kind of test him sometimes and be like, I want KFC or I want this to see if he would go out the way to get it for me. Because I go out the way to get things for him. So yesterday I asked him to buy KFC for me and he's like, he doesn't want to do it. That really upset me though. So I'm wondering if I am overthinking it or if
Yes.
he also.
Yes. You're overthinking it. You
Oh,
don't test people. That's childish. People don't love in the same ways, right? Like, there's probably
yeah.
things that he's willing to do for you that you wouldn't want to do for him, right? There's going to be asymmetry in the connection. Asymmetry means that we're playing different roles, right? So
Yes.
he may want to pay for everything. I'm not saying that's the case, but he may want to pay for everything. But why would he then expect you to pay for everything, right? Like that's his way of contributing to the connection. So yeah, you
Wow.
testing him and just asking for something that you don't even want just to see if he does it, it would annoy the fuck out of me, to be honest with you. If I heard you say that, I would break up with you just off of that. Because it's like, well, what are we doing? Right? Yeah.
And the thing is, I also was pregnant, and 2 times. One was the doctor said there was no growth there, like a spine, so I deleted that one. And then the other one went in the tube, and he said that it seems like I don't want this. Or I don't know if he's because he's upset or what. He said that, and it really hurt me.
Wait, so okay, so you've been pregnant twice, and you said that the first baby didn't have a spine.
Yeah, like it's 7 weeks. The both of them were 7 weeks.
Okay.
The doctor said that there wasn't like 7 weeks. There is supposed to be a stick or something like that on the 7 week,
Okay.
and the doctor said they didn't see that.
Okay.
When I asked Google, it seems like that stick is going to take longer to come, but it's going to turn into one of those children that is, some people would say special.
Okay. All right. So then you did what you did with that one, and then you got pregnant again, and what happened?
And then that one went in the tube.
What do you mean in
And
the
then I
tube?
had to do an uptick. I don't remember what they call it. When the egg goes in the tube and grow in the tube instead of in the ovary,
Okay.
in the
Okay.
uterus.
Okay.
Yes, that one. That's what happened, and I was bleeding on the inside.
Okay.
So I had to cut out that ovary and tube, the left side.
Okay. And so you were going through a health issue during the second pregnancy,
Yes.
and then what happened?
No, right now I'm at home now before I can get to go to work. But seriously, he helped me through a whole lot of mental situation.
I'm confused. What are we talking about right now? You have a question about this?
I really want to ask you another strong question, very strong question that this would lead up to.
What was okay?
Very strong.
Okay.
I'm gonna yes. There's this thing called epilepsy, and I found out that depression can lead to something that looks like epilepsy.
Uh-huh.
And this guy, he helps me out fully with everything. But sometimes I need to take pills that look like epilepsy. But
Okay.
I should just relax and cool with this guy, like how he's good to me. And although I went through all of this, I just relax. Although I just made that sound full a while ago. Because when I go to work, and someone troubles me at work, he helps me mentally so I don't get something that looks like epilepsy.
Okay, that's great. But what's your question, love? I'm confused at what we're talking about right now.
Oh, no, what I'm asking is that, am I overly thinking and expecting too much of him, although I go through these things and the baby situation, and he says that it seems like I am not wanting the children or so. If he's going through emotional issues also, that's why he say that.
What did he say to you again?
It seems like I don't want to have children.
Why did he say that? Why do you think he said that?
That was the time when I came from the hospital and did all those surgery. I don't know if it's because he's depressed or something, or he's sad.
Did he say it seems like you don't want to have children after you got rid of the first one?
I think it's the second one he said that.
Okay.
I'm not really sure if it's the first one or the second one, but I think it's the second one he said that.
Okay. All right. Well,
Like, I don't know if he's saying that because I'm not relaxing my mind and relaxing and to let it happen. I don't know if that's why.
okay. All right. So, and both of you have been trying to conceive. So this is intentional.
Yes.
Okay. Okay. What was your response when he said that?
I did not respond to him because I don't want to shout or be angry or say anything like that. I just keep quiet and leave it alone.
Okay. Do you think that he fully understood the situation?
I try to make sure that he fully understand the situation. Even when the doctor was talking to me, I said, talk to that man outside. So the doctor went outside to explain everything to him also.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, it sounds like that he doesn't really understand what's going on. Potentially.
So I would have to have a sit down with him and explain everything to him.
I would assume ignorance here as opposed to malice, and see if he really understands like the risk that this entails.
Yes.
Right. Is the rooster in your lap?
Oh, sorry, it's outside.
Okay.
Sorry.
You're good. No apology necessary. It sounds like you're right beside it. Okay, so yeah, that's what I would do. Other than that, I mean, everything else that you said, it sounds like he's supportive, but it also sounds like obviously that's a harmful statement, right? That didn't make you feel good because it's not like you can control the situation at all. So I have empathy for you there. But yeah, I would have the conversation and let him know exactly what is going on. Like, it's a dangerous situation. So maybe it'll make more sense coming from you than the doctor. Sometimes doctors can explain things in a way where it's like they act as if they're talking to another doctor. So again, I would assume ignorance there because everything else that you described about him, he seems loving. Right?
Yes.
You said how supportive he is, how much he does for you. So that sounds like a loving person, right? So that sounds like a person who is operating in good faith. Not perfect, right? You don't find perfect people. Sometimes a good person who is very loving to you can also be very mean and callous, right? That's just life. But yeah, I would assume ignorance here and then have the conversation.
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
No problem, love. Best of luck to you, all right?
Yes.
All right. All right. Who we got next? I can't pronounce your name, love. So whoever you are, starts with a D. Unmute it. Oh, that is a doozy of a name there. You put the alphabet on shuffle. It seems. Whole alphabet. You just put it on shuffle. Did she leave? I couldn't pronounce her name. Okay. Whoa, quite a few people in the queue. Hello? Hello? All right. Sure didn't mean to come up. Let me see. Hello? Hello? She did not mean to come up, but she also was one of those people who froze when she came up. You could hear her, like she just stopped moving. Hello? All right, beloved. You can't come up anymore because you just requested twice in a row. You didn't say anything, so that's annoying me. Don't do it again. All right, let me see. Yo.
Yes, can you hear me?
Yeah, what's going on, man?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, what's up?
Okay, So my question is, I'm trying to get over this breakup. I'm gonna just explain it a little bit because it's been a lot.
Right.
I've been with this girl since high school. She was basically my high school sweetheart. So she ended up cheating recently. And when it happened, I was catching on to things, and the things that I was catching on to, and she was just showing the consistent pattern. And then when I found out, like, the guy, I probably shouldn't have had this, but it was just so much going on, and I ended up contacting the guy. And the guy was like, yes, like, she was in the bed with him, basically. So I was like, you know what? So we was living together for like 5 years. Like I said, we've been together for 15 years. And I'm putting her out.
Right.
And then I'm thinking in my head, like, okay, so maybe like this connection could be better since all that stuff happened. Thinking like, okay, like if she is the one for me, she would come back. But nah, that didn't happen. She ended up going back to that guy
Right.
and then staying with him and everything. And now I'm just like, I feel like lost because it's like, dang, like I thought we was better than that.
Right.
Now it's like I'm stuck in my head to what did I do wrong or what could I did better. But at the end of the day, it's like I don't want to keep blaming myself for that.
Right. Okay.
So my question is like, one, should I like this little part of me is like, man, just hold on, like she could come back. But then the other side of me is like, man, you done been through too much, so how can you just let her come back? So like I said, I'm trying to figure out how can I get over it, but then again, at the same time, I'm like, should I still hold on?
Right. You said y'all were together for 5 years. How did you meet her?
No, 15.
You were together for 15 years.
No, we've been together for 15. Yes, she was my high school sweetheart. We met in high school, 9th grade.
Y'all been living with each other for 5
Yes.
years. How old are you two?
Yes, for 5 years. She had moved in.
How old are you
I'm
two?
31. I just turned 31.
Okay. Are y'all married?
I'm 31. She's 30.
Okay.
No,
Not married? Were you planning on getting married?
no, not. I wanted to,
Okay.
honestly.
No kids?
No kids.
Okay. High school sweetheart. Did you know dude?
No, I don't.
How did you know specifically who it was?
I was looking on her social media and the things like it, like 'cause the things that she posted, it was, I felt like it was towards me, but then every time it was like some like a love post or something like that, like my man this, my man that. He's always hearting like everything, like he was always hearting it. So I'm like, that's weird. Like the same person can't just keep hearting your stuff over and over and over and over again. Like
Right.
I understand, like some guys do that, but the way what he was doing was something different. So that's what put the spark in my mind. And I'm like, I asked her about it, like before I ended up pitting her out. Like it was probably like a month and a half, where I was like, bro, just tell me the truth. Like all I want to know is the truth. Like if you are, like, just let me know. Like we can work things out. Like, but that's at that time that was just the mentality I was in, because I'm like, we can work things out. But at the end of the day, I see the real, and now I don't know.
Right. What was her
But basically, that's how it really started. Huh?
What was her response when you said that, and what was her response when you had proof?
Basically trying to throw it off. But then, like, she tried to throw it off and try to make it seem like, okay, like, I stopped, like, this, that, and the third. But like I said, I'll put it to you like this. For months, like, literally months, she was seeing this person. And I found that out recently, like, after I put it out, because we did have a conversation. But for months, she was sitting here going over this. She was lying to me about how, I'm going to go stay with my grandma, this, that, and the third. And then one day, we went over there because her grandma was in the hospital. So I ended up going over there. But then you sitting here telling me that, oh, she hasn't been over here in months. She hasn't stayed over here in months. So and that really put a thing in my head. So I'm like, okay, so the whole time, like, you haven't been over here in months. You haven't stayed over there in months. So what you been doing? And then she was over there, right? Basically.
Right. So when you approached her with proof, when like you knew and she knew that you knew, what was her response?
You said say it one more time. I'm sorry. It was going
When
in and out.
when you approached her with proof and she knew that you knew the truth, what was her response then?
Um, honestly, I'm not gonna say that she didn't care, but honestly, to be honest, right now how I feel, or how I feel at the moment, how I felt at that moment, I felt like she cared about him more than she cared about me. Cause the last thing I literally told her was, "You would rather lose me and keep him, even though we've been together for 15 years." And that's exactly what happened.
But she didn't say anything to you?
So I'm not gonna say like, basically no.
Got you. Okay. All right. And your question is is it still workable? Is that your question?
Yes, and like I said, a little piece of me is sitting here saying, should I work it out with her? But then the other side of me is like, it's been too much. Like after all this, like the months of lying, all this is like, how can things be reconciled after that?
No, you gotta move on, big dog. Unfortunately, you definitely gotta move on because, like, even you going to her and asking her, like, telling her just tell me and we can work it out. Already put you in a situation where that guarantee that you weren't going to be able to. You gotta understand, for women, respect is like interlinked with desire. It's hard for them to desire men in like a relationship context who they don't respect, right? So when you
Yes.
found out that she was cheating, and then you were like, just tell me the truth, we can work it out. You were basically telling her like, I'll do anything to keep you, right? I don't care if you disrespect me as long as we can just still be together. That makes her lose any little respect she had for you. And my read on the situation is more than likely, if you were moving that way during this situation, you probably did other things over the course of the relationship that also made her lose respect for you. So
Yes,
you probably co-created the conditions to where she would cheat in the first place. Not you didn't cause it because that's still character. Her character led her to cheat. But because y'all been high school sweethearts, you've been together for so long, and you don't know life without her, you probably did show up in a way that wasn't the best for the connection, which likely created the conditions for her to seek attention elsewhere. Okay? So
yes,
this is 100% a Cook situation. That's a good thing, right? It feels bad right now. I understand that, right? It's
yes.
probably very bittersweet for you because y'all are, you're in your 30s now. But this ultimately just wasn't the right person for you, bro.
And
It,
I can understand that.
like, did she ever mention anything? Like, did you kind of like witness her over the last year or so being more distant? Did she like complain about anything? Was there something that she wanted to talk to you about? Anything like that going on?
Well, see, that's the thing, and that's why I was so confused at, because it was like, she would literally be with me throughout the whole week, but then like 2 days out the week or a day out the week, like I said, she would sit here and say, "Oh, I'm going to my grandmother's house to go stay with her, to be with her," and I'm thinking that was that.
Right.
So I'm not thinking like, because we would still go out, we would still do dates, we would still do everything, like everything was still the same. So like I said, at the end of the day, I was still blinded by the fact, but it was just like the consistent pattern of the posters on Facebook, then her leaving, and when she leaves, she don't answer calls, or if she do, it'd be like it take too long, that was just that.
Yeah. So, yeah, man. I mean, this is just going to be a situation that doesn't ultimately work out for you, unfortunately. So, the way that you move on is you have to grieve the connection, right? So you're going to have to feel the bad feelings that you associate with this. That's how you process emotions. You process emotions by actually feeling the emotions, right? So you feel the bad feelings. That way you can kind of release them. This is also going to be a time for you to lean upon your support system. So spending time with both family and friends, people who care about you, right? And in addition to that, I would advise for you to turn that pain into progress. So use this pain as fuel, right? A lot of progress can be made in a heartbreak because all emotions are energy. So you have excess energy right now, right? For you to go out and achieve whatever it is you want to achieve. Okay? So find something meaningful for you to work on and make progress on, and that's going to help you through this. Okay? But under no circumstances do you entertain getting back with this person because they do not respect you. Okay? And this is whatever new situation she's in is likely going to go south eventually. So prepare yourself mentally for that to go south and her possibly trying to return. Don't entertain it.
Before you say that, because that literally just happened like last week, like Friday or something like that. It was either Thursday or Friday. Like I said, we still follow each other on social media, on Facebook. So I'm saying that I saw that she was like spazzing out, like posting this, posting that, saying this, that, and the third, basically saying basically saying, I'm not gonna say like saying that she was single, but basically like. Anyway, but they was going back and forth on Facebook. So when that happened, she ended up calling me, and then I didn't answer.
Who was going back and forth?
I'm like,
who was going back and forth?
her and the other guy.
Like arguing?
They wasn't arguing, but they was sharing stuff back and forth, like basically, how you say it?
Subliminals?
Like, yeah, subliminal, like towards each other. Like, but I knew what was going on because they was both doing it at the same time. So I was like, okay. So they got into an argument. He posted something like talking about newly single or something like that. And I'm just like, huh? But yeah, so when that happened, she tried to call me. And then I didn't answer. The next day, she texted me and said, "You're funny." And I didn't say nothing. So I'm like,
It's already started. Don't get back with that girl, man. Don't you do it. Don't you do it. I know it's tempting. Don't you do it. All right? Okay. You would be spitting in your own face if you got back with that woman. All right?
Yeah, I can understand that. You're right about that. Because basically, it's probably going to happen again. More than likely, 9 times out of 10.
Okay, so I would block her on social media. I wouldn't keep tabs with her, and I would keep going no contact. I wouldn't talk to her at all, which is probably going to be surprising to her because she probably already looks at you as a doormat and probably had a backup plan, like she could always come back to you if things went south with old buddy. Especially considering that you were like, we can work it out, right? She's probably, oh, well, if things go south, I just get back with him. Surprise her. It's going to be a big surprise when you stand 10 toes down on this. Don't entertain her at all. And just keep making progress. Keep making progress. Work on yourself. Work on whatever kind of goals you have. And then just leave her in the past.
Okay, yeah, I most definitely will. Because ever since that happened, like, I done got myself back in school, like, trying to learn some more stuff, like, and I've been trying to keep myself busy doing that, but like I said, at the end of the day, I still think about it, and I'm not gonna lie, it still bothers me. And
right.
Then, like I said, I still be having that what if, but I'm not gonna think about that what if no more. But I just need to focus on what I got going on.
Exactly. That's it. You're thinking about it the right way. Yeah, like just acknowledge it's gonna suck for a while. It's gonna be hard, but like, future you is proud of you for making this decision. But if you don't make this decision and then you get back with her, future you is going to be very upset. So
I understand that.
I would not follow her on social media anymore. I would go ahead and end that because that keeps you looping on this situation. You got to remove all your energy and attention from this situation. Block her on everything, and then let her sit in her regret. Okay.
Okay. I appreciate it. Thank you so much.
No problem, Chief. You take care.
All right, you too.
All right. Let me see. People who cheat like that, bro. Shit's annoying. That guy has her 100% now. It's going to destruct. You talking about new dude? No, if they already throwing subliminals on Facebook, you're dealing with stage 1 people. Those are the people who throw shots back and forth on social media. More developed people don't do goofy shit like that. That's stage 1. That's Cardi B behavior. That's stage 1. So now I already got like an inkling of what type of person we're talking about. Mind you, this woman is in her 30s. She's in her 30s. This is not a 20-something-year-old. This is a 30-year-old woman talking like this, going back and forth. And what's the other clue we had? Facebook. This all happened on Facebook. That's the biggest clue of what type of person we're dealing with. Who do you know in that age range spending time on Facebook? The people who they date are also on Facebook, and their social media platform of choice to exchange subliminal shots is Facebook. Them type of motherfuckers go to the library and use to freely use the Wi-Fi and get on social media. We already got a profile. It's like a criminal mind. So I already got the profile in my head. I know who we're talking about. I know the type of person we're talking about. 100%. Not the person to be with. So hopefully Buddy goes... Facebook is the first problem. Y'all didn't catch all of that when he was telling the story? In my mind, I'm like, Facebook? Drake? Y'all throwing subliminals on Facebook? Oh my God. I already know what demographic we talking about now. Yeah, leave her in the dust, bro. Leave her in the dustbin. Jesus Christ. Go get you a woman who's worth your time. Sound like a good dude. He need to, get some respect a little bit, respect himself a bit more. But that's more so like him just being kind of green, right? That's kind of, all guys kind of start that way, right? He just hasn't gone through the experience of attaining wisdom through taking L's. You know what I mean? He's been with this chick since he was 15 years old. He's 30 something now. I hate good guys being in trouble out here. Ruins it for everyone. Right. Listen, nobody's born Future. Future is not born. He's created. All men start off at like the guy holding the boom box outside the window. All men start out like that. All of them. All of them. If they're not like that, there's a reason for it. She's been cheating. This isn't her first rodeo. Maybe. It's possible. It's certainly possible. Why we can't attract each other, men and women who are sincere and have emotional capacity? Because both parties are chasing people who activate their attachment system. So, example, anxious people chasing avoidance, That type of guy, if you want to date with him, you probably be like, he was a good guy, but I didn't feel anything. That's why. You would have went on a date with him and said, oh, he was a nice guy, but I just didn't feel anything. That's why the good guys and the women can't find each other. It's because when you date the guy like that, he's good on paper, but you don't feel the tingly feelings for him. And then when the guy finds a good woman like that, sometimes it's like he views her as being kind of boring, not stimulating. So it's the same thing on the male side, right? He'll get with like a real kind, like, good quality woman. And he's like, I wasn't feeling it. Wasn't feeling it. After he commits, what should change between us, if anything? I think I missed the rest of your comment. Okay. If you have a question, people, pertaining to dating and relationships, you can request up. I will solve your issue. You can also drop your question in the chat. Just be advised, callers get first priority, all right? The person with the Kid Boo picture, I'm certainly not bringing you up because you have Kid Boo as your picture. Seems like a troll. Type of profile picture a troll would have, so I'm going to have to decline you respectfully. After a commitment is established, what should I look for? That's a very vague question, honey love. What are you optimizing for? What's the goal here? What kind of commitment has been made? Y'all in a relationship now? Fan the guy with the Diddy profile pic earlier. I could sense the oil seeping through the phone. Right. You gotta judge these profile pics. It reveals a bit about their psyche. Reveals a bit about their psyche. Let me see. Finally committed after a year. Nice. My ex-fiance said he has no intention of coming back as much as he wants to, but don't go back. Okay. You think months after he will I don't know, love. I don't have the crystal ball here. I don't know if he'll come back. No one can answer that question for you. I don't have my tarot cards here. They're in storage. So, maybe. I'll certainly need more details to give you a more accurate assessment. Good morning, Angel. All right, people, what kind of questions do we have? Remember, if you have a question pertaining to dating and relationships, you can request up. I'll solve your issue. You can also drop your question in the chat and I'll answer it there. But you get the best answers when you request up. So do you suggest to date multiple people at a time before committing to anyone? No, quite the contrary. I suggest one at a time. That's what I suggest. One at a time. You have to put artificial constraints on dating because people do not make decisions that are best for them often, especially when it comes to dating. And right now there are no constraints. There's no speed limit. There's no barriers, right? So you have to create them artificially. Create your own artificial rules to constrain your options. So, yeah, I would do one at a time. That way you take it seriously. That's what I do personally. What makes a man stay with a woman for 15 years and not want to marry her? He can just not want to be married at all right now. Or you could be living together and already have kids, and thus there's nothing to look forward to. So why get married in the first place? There's no real incentive. Why do people go into relationships when they know they're to waste people's time? They're not thinking about you at all, right? They're not getting into a relationship like, I'm gonna waste her time. No, they are thinking about themselves and what they need. They need a distraction. They need a distraction from the previous relationship that didn't go well, right? They need the validation that comes from being desired or having sex with you. They're not thinking about how this may negatively impact you. Most people are very narcissistic. There's a gnat in here, and he's about to drive me crazy. This gnat is trained by the Air Force, apparently, because I can't get it. What about just getting to know many people at the same time, but doing it to see who you want to date? What does that look like practically, TJ? Why are we just getting to know many people at the same time? I don't know what that looks like realistically. I would have got to date a lady for more than 5 years and he truly knows that he wasn't going to marry her because he just wants access to you. The best relationship is the one where you both bring each other closer to God. Okay. All right. I don't disagree with that, but we got to work on your spelling a little bit because that was hard to read. When do you think is the best time to make things exclusive? Like as a man, like when you can kind of tell that she's leaning towards that direction anyway. You gotta be careful as a man not to outpace where the woman is emotionally. So you start seeing she wants to spend more time with you. She's canceling plans like while on dates. All right, maybe she has something coming up, and then she like tries to spend more time with you. She's engaging with you more. You can tell she wants more of you, I would say. That's a good sign. I was just waiting on the right time, but not it's no time. You were waiting on the right time to get back with her? No. Don't do that, brother. I'm telling you, man. I'm telling you, don't do it. You will 100% regret it. That can cause problems if some of them catch on. What, like dating multiple people? Yeah, man, like that's turn off for me for sure. Because dating multiple people implies sleeping with multiple people. No one says they do that. A lot of people do that. Everyone pretend like, no, I just talk to him. I don't sleep. Turn off. Lost me for sure. I'm telling y'all, the highest quality people ain't going for it. I'm telling y'all, the highest quality people play a different game. They're not going for that shit. They rather be by themselves. They're not going for it. I have always dated one at a time, but I only attracted avoidance. You didn't attract avoidance. You chose avoidance. If that's even true. Because people nowadays think that if somebody doesn't want to be with them or ghosts them or doesn't want to see them after one date, it means they're avoidantly attached. That's not what that means. It means that they didn't like you or they didn't have the capacity. Right? But if you are genuinely only attracting avoidance, that is a you thing because you are choosing the people you're dealing with. You're not magically only attracting avoidantly attached people. She's matching effort, right? How often do rebound relationships actually work? I'm curious. They can. But I would say that's the exception to the rule. But they can. But it's like, how do we define work? Are we just saying be together? I mean, if someone can just two people can stay together because they're both needy and codependent. That doesn't mean things are working. Is flirting a good sign to ask someone out, or are they? Is flirting a good sign to ask someone out, or are they or are there other things to look out for? I would say yes, flirting is a good sign to ask somebody out. How can a man says he loves a woman and chooses her every day and doesn't want commitment? He just wants access to you or wants to continue sleeping with you? No, one for 8 years, one for 4 years. Okay. Um, 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 um. You didn't attract, you chose. Right. 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 They almost tell you who they are and you choose to ignore the signs. So 100% you attract avoidance. You choose avoidance. Right. Yeah, you always choose them. But I mean, you can't really tell if someone's avoidantly attached really until they get activated. Because avoidantly attached people will come across as secure in the early phase a lot of the time. Think about it. They could be vulnerable with their friends. They could be vulnerable with people who aren't that emotionally significant to them or threatening. But then they can't be vulnerable with you once you matter to them, right? So they can come across as very like secure at first. But then around the 2, 3, 4 month mark, when things get a little bit more invested, that's when the problem comes in. Is having sex on the first date a bad idea? What is your goal, Moroccan beauty? Like, do you want a relationship? Like, what are you looking for? Joe Boy, that is the most egregious shot I've ever seen in my life. So let me get this straight. You DM somebody, they didn't respond, and now you are in public asking them to respond to your DM? That is ballsy. That is ballsy, brother. That brother's starving. He wanted marriage when we first started dating. 6 months later, he says he isn't sure. He needs about 1 year. Okay. Okay, you have a question there? It takes 3 months for the attachment to be activated. It doesn't magically take 3 months. It depends on the person. It depends on how much time you're spending with them. What are some ways having a partner with bad boundaries sabotage the connection? Because they'll begin to resent you. When should you let go of your avoidant? When you have to come on live and ask questions about your avoidant. It's probably a good sign that you should let them go. Let me see. What's your thoughts on marriage in 2026? I'm bullish on it. Got to bring marriage back. I think a lot of people think about it the wrong way, though. They think relationships are here to make them happy, and that's not the purpose of relationships, and never has been. For all of human history, relationships have never existed to make you happy. Why does men feel comfortable to tell you they love you on the first date? They probably think you're going to fall for it. That's a love bombing tactic. Why you call me out like that? I'm curious. Why? You asked the question. What do you want? You said, is it a bad idea to sleep with each other on the first date? Depends. What is your goal? We got a caller. Let's see if any of these people in the queue are real. You get really grounded in wise advice will start your awareness or healing. I've been working on myself since I was 17, so it's been a long time coming. But a little over 3 years ago, ended a relationship with a woman I was with for quite some time. Before I ended it, I hired a coach myself to see if it was salvageable. It was not. Well, it was, but it wasn't worth salvaging. A coach literally told me that the juice was not worth the squeeze, and I agree. So he began to coach me after I ended the relationship, kind of helped me process everything. And he also noticed that I was really good at understanding what he was saying and asking really good, insightful questions. So I told him that I was thinking about coaching as well, and he encouraged me to do so. When do you think is the right time to marry someone? Sooner than later. Yep. Sooner than later. I'll say within 2 years, to be honest with you. Just go ahead and do it. Go ahead and do it. Be more ballsy. Embrace more risks in your life. So what do they exist for? For the mutual growth. No one's going to see you as clearly or trigger you as much as the person you're in a relationship with. Right? So it's for you to grow. Much of life is for you to grow. Thing is, people don't like growing because growing requires pain. It's uncomfortable. People don't like being uncomfortable. They like being all comfy and nice and warm and bubbly inside, but that's not life. Life is uncomfortable. The need for perpetual comfort makes you weak. And when life is unkind to you, those are the people who fold, the ones who can't handle it. Change your handle to Chef Marquette because you're always cooking. Appreciate you, love. We both wanted marriage by month 6. What could have made him change his mind to 1 year? Could have realized he probably wanted it conceptually, but then faced with the reality of actually getting married, he probably got cold feet, or he experienced something in the connection of you that made him change his mind. What do you think about women approaching men? Is it thirsty? Depends on how you do it. So you should do it in a feminine way, not a masculine way. The masculine way would be you like metaphorically taking his panties off, right? Like you're talking about how good he looks, how attractive he is. Can you get his number? That's the masculine way. It's off-putting. Most men will immediately disqualify you for that. The feminine way is just to create an opening, right? So when you make eye contact, you're creating an opening. When you smile, you're creating an opening. When you wave, you're creating an opening. If you just give a compliment or just start any conversation, you create an opening. And it's on the man to take that opening. That's the feminine way of approaching. When I've dated women from social media before, right? A lot of them have DM'd me first. Now, when they DM me first, they're not like trying to get at me. They may just be talking about something. Oh, I like the video you did on this or something like that, right? They're just creating an opening, and I take it if I'm interested. If I'm not interested, I will say thank you and then like the message. Now, when you create that opening, if he doesn't take it, read the room. Read the room. I told you I was in the mall the other day, and this woman, she like complimented me on my pants. She was like a saleswoman. It was an attractive woman too. And she was like, I like your pants. I was like, thank you. And she was like, and I kept walking. She was like, where'd you get them from? I was like, I think Zara. And I kept walking. I like turned around and said, I think it's Zara. And I kept walking. And she was like, are you from around here? I said, okay. All right. I know what this is. No, I live on the moon, actually. I called in with the cartoon profile pic to stay private one time. Sometimes they're real. Right. But like, it depends on the cartoon pic, right? Kid Boo, that's troll energy. Your thoughts on prenups? I mean, if you like that, get them. It just depends on the person. I wouldn't have no one sign a prenup right now. The way things are going, though, in a couple of years. Go ahead and sign that for me, baby. Go ahead and sign it real quick. Dot and sign there, initial there. Be like you're buying a car in this bit. Sign there, initial there. We need another initial here. Another signature right there. Thank you. So, yes, it depends on the situation. How has what you learned helped you in your dating pursuits? It's been very effective, actually. Certain people know personal experiences I've had as of late. Danny's one of them. Me and him talk a lot. I also continue to learn as well. But it helps me, I anticipate things very well. I also, it gives me peace of mind of knowing if things don't work out, they were never going to. Because the mistake is not on my end. Not to say that I don't make mistakes, but I don't make any mistakes where it's like that killed the connection. You know what I mean? Like if the shit don't work out here, it's really because it was not supposed to. You don't have the capacity for this. But when you work on yourself a lot, you create, you know, when I talk about the stages, one of the downsides of advancing up the stages is, it's like what Drake says, I made too much money, my music is no longer relatable, right? You get to a point of development where it's like a lot of people can't resonate with you anymore. Or they feel like the gap is so wide between you that being in your presence reveals their inadequacies and they don't want to face them, so they leave. So your dating pool effectively shrinks. Just something you got to make peace with. The less developed you are, the bigger your dating pool. Because most people aren't developed at all. Things to consider about dating someone with chronic illness, depression. That's very attuned to me. That's very attuned to. I don't get the question. Rephrase it. Also, if you want your 1 hour coaching call, hit this icon right here. It's a button at the bottom of the screen. Hit that, shoot me a message. I'll ask you about your situation. If I can help you, I will send you a link to book your 1 hour call. Be advised though, people. Prices are going up at the end of the month. End of the month, they're going up. So for those of you who've already DM'd me and then just stopped responding, for those of you who have asked about the implementation package and have not booked it, prices go up at the end of the month. There will be, I'm not grandfathering anybody in. Once that clock strikes 12, that dress is coming off. Them glass slippers will vanish, okay? No exceptions. I just had the same experience hosting speed dating. What experience, Danny? What about, oh, you talking about somebody like hitting on you and not getting the hint? Yeah, it's like you got to get the hint, man. You just got to, like, we know when a woman is like trying to create conversation, usually, unless they're like an 18-year-old guy or something like that. But then you start to become thirsty, where it's like, okay, I already imply that I'm not interested. Or available. It's not even always an interest thing. Sometimes it's just not available. Like I'll like not respond because it's not available, right? But some will just continue to push. And it's like, what are you doing? What stage do you think your coach is at? We're at the same stage now. The thing, yeah, we're at the same stage. My coach is married. He's been married over a decade. We're at the same stage now, for sure. I'm sorry, I just lost my spot. I'm like way behind in the chat. Way behind in the chat. I'm just gonna make it present so I can answer like recent questions. Yesterday's price is not today's price, right? Can you send the link again? Sure. For coaching? Well, I gotta wait for it to reset. I'm signing up. I'm going to be your biggest project. We'll see. I've had quite a few doozies. You don't think your coach progressed to stage 4? I don't know any person who's at stage 4. The higher you go up, the harder it is to ascend. You start climbing Everest, that air starts getting real thin. You start seeing dead bodies laying around. Oh shit, maybe we should turn back. We should probably turn back. There's dead bodies around here. That was a good analogy, wasn't it? We be coming up with heat on this live, man. So yeah, it just gets more difficult. It's hard to achieve. So are you saying be satisfied at 3? Yeah, I was telling a client yesterday, I'm like, bro, you get to 3B, you already at a different level than most men. You're already top tier. You're already top. Any woman that gets me, she's won. She's congratulations. She's won for sure. So it's like there ain't, when you get to 3B, you already are going to give a vibe like people ain't dated no one like you before. Women who I've dated historically, they're like, they've not dated. You look at their past, they ain't dating nobody like me. And it's kind of offensive. My guys, you ever look at a woman like her dating history and you're like, oh, I'm at the wrong place. I think the GPS took me to the wrong spot. Because me and Buddy don't have nothing in common. Someone asked me, what has like my dating coaching or my career path, has it helped me with dating? I can anticipate things very easily because sometimes I'll like date women and I'll see their ex, like the recent ex, and like the gap is so big, I'm like, you can't possibly be with me. The gap's too big. You can't possibly. You can't. You're going to sabotage this. What do you mean he was selling fentanyl? The gap's too big. You can't possibly. He was selling bud? The gap's way too wide. Oh, you're just trying something new? You're trying to shake shit up. Right. You're just trying to shake shit up. You do a wild card. No, the gap's too big, beloved. You're not going to hold this connection. You're going to feel really awkward here. You're going to feel really awkward here. I promise you. Because this is going to be a totally different experience. Totally different. Unless there's like I told somebody, growth leaves evidence. Right? Growth always leaves evidence. If someone has grown, there will be evidence to suggest that they have grown, right? So there are some people who, in the interim, they grew enough to be able to hold a connection with someone like me or someone better than me, right? Most of the time, nope. I hate that I've never dated someone like you. Right, it's a bad sign. It's a bad sign. It's a bad sign. CJ was talking about that. CJ was talking about the girl he was dating. She was like, why are you so nice to me? CJ, also, I want to tell you that you were probably over functioning in that connection. It's something I've had to practice too. Because as men, especially if you're a man who has anxious attachment roots, you have a tendency to think that you have to earn love, right? That manifests as you being like extra chivalrous and trying to solve any problem she brings your way. You have to practice the skill of containment. Meaning, you have to pace even what you do for the woman. So if she can solve the problem herself, let her solve the problem herself. Let her solve that problem herself. If it's an emergency, you can help. Wow, can you go from dating millionaires to the common man? I'm sure it will be an adjustment, but that's not really what I'm talking about, because you can achieve financial wealth just because you, I mean, obviously it's an accomplishment, but it doesn't really, it correlates with development, but it doesn't mean that the person is developed. Like in my stage model, you can be wildly financially successful at stage 2. But like romantically, you're still cooked. You're still cooked romantically. What about dating at stage 3A? What about it? What specific question do you have about that? If I could show you the text she sent me, you get it a little more. Hey, send them hoes. Send them hoes over. Huh? Send them hoes over. Let me check it out. I have clients like send me text message change. I always have a fun time with those. So I'm like, oh, this is okay. This is what this means. This is all right. Here's a picture. Put them in the chat. Not this chat, CJ. Don't expose shorty like that. Is the gap big at level as opposed to 3B? No, 3A and 3B can be together. The stages is not with the stages. It's stages are kind of macro, right? So it's like what I was talking about as the gap being too big doesn't apply to the stage model. But the type of men a woman has dated does, or vice versa, right? It's not a gender thing. It does give you insight as to what they resonate with. What gap are you referring to? I was given the example of me dating a woman who she dated men who were less developed than me, and like by a significant margin. Not like finance or anything like that. That's what I'm talking about. I'm talking about like develop, like character, that kind of shit, right? So that means that she likely won't be able to hold the connection with me. Doesn't mean it's impossible. Not even an emotional gap. It's like you don't really jump from what's that guy Sierra's dating? What's his name? I forgot his name. Yeah, values gap is close to what I'm talking about. Russell Wilson, yeah. You don't really jump from one to another without like genuinely jump, right? Like, oh, I desired this guy and now I desire this guy. You normally don't make that big of a jump immediately. Maybe there's some other guys in between those two that kind of like lead you in that direction. You could also have had like a come to Jesus moment, which like was very transformative for you, and then you make the jump. But it's too big of a jump. It's like a guy. You don't go from dating a stripper to dating a like stay-at-home mother who was raised in the church and just a sweetheart. It's like you don't normally do that. You can, but the ones who can, they made a lot of growth. Something occurred in that time between. So I say growth leaves evidence. So you should be able to point to why she was able to make that switch, that jump so quickly. Or regression normal people the same way. Right. It's too big of a gap. Reality for you is always a mirror. Reality is always a mirror, right? Your reflection don't change that much that quickly. unless you got surgery. It takes time for your reflection to change. It takes time for the signs of aging to be obvious. It takes time to gain or lose weight. Your reflection don't change like that. Some women can grow through their past relationships. Right. Did I say that wasn't the case? I said growth leaves evidence, implying that growth can occur. I need y'all working your comprehension skills. Can I ask a long question? It's best for you to call in to ask the long question, to be honest with you. Hello.
How are you?
Great, how are you? Can you mute and then unmute yourself again? Because I don't think the chat can hear you.
Oh, I'm sorry. Can you hear me?
Yes, what's going on?
Oh, I wanted to ask you a question. So, essentially, I met this guy. We went on a date. And in a course of a week, he didn't communicate in a way that I would have appreciated. I mean, I think there was communication, but it wasn't
Right.
consistent. On Friday, we went on a date on Monday. On Friday, I just went out with the girls, and then we were just, hanging out, at the speakeasy, and then I just happened to flirt with his best friend. So I find out during, I guess, the encounter that they're actually close friends. So I just walk away and not talk to that guy ever again. And then I tell the guy that I went on a date on Monday with that, hey, I happened to bump into your friend. We were talking, nothing happened. And I apologized, I guess. I apologize for flirting, but I mean, I didn't really feel seen or taken care of by him. But it was just one weekend, so technically I'm a single girl. I could do it. So he kind of was like, no, it's fine, we can be friends. So he ghosted me, essentially. And then 3 weeks later, he came back and he was like, hey, I think we should give this thing a chance. And my question, I guess, is I'm worried. I am excited about him, but the question is, I'm worried about his intentions and, because he was really, really disappointed that, I ended up connecting with his friend or just connecting with anyone in general. He kind of suggested that I should have just stayed home and he knows everybody around and whoever I flirt with in the future, he's most likely going to know. So I'm just not sure how to navigate this because I do want to try things out and I think we would have a beautiful relationship, but I just worry about this other thing. I'm just wondering what your thoughts are.
Okay, so how long have you been seeing him?
I just went, so like I said, I was kind of seeing him for a week. And then, so I went on a date with him on Monday, and then we talked a little bit on Tuesday. He didn't talk to me on Wednesday and Thursday. We were on a nice call on Friday, but I didn't really feel like he was showing up as a secure attachment, and I'm an anxious attachment. So naturally, those 2 days where he kind of went ghost, that was automatically, if he's not talking to me, he knows exactly what he's doing because guys nowadays know that, if you want to show a girl that you're into them, you communicate. Even one text could have just taken care of my not being sure what was going on.
Were you waiting for him to reach out to you or did you reach out to him and he didn't respond?
So after the date, after the date late at night, he texted and I responded. And then he responded to the Tuesday morning text. And then when I responded, he didn't acknowledge that text on Tuesday. That's when he was quiet. Wednesday, Thursday. And then Friday, I ended up texting me and saying, "Hey, will you give me a call?" And then he gave me a call, but I asked for that call.
So that text that you sent, that last text, did it require a response? Like, did you ask him a question?
Not necessarily. The last text I sent was like, didn't it was like, "Hey, I hope you're having a good day," something like that. It was a statement. It wasn't a question.
Okay. All right. So then 2 days go by and you asked him to call you and he called you and y'all, what did y'all talk about?
Yeah, I mean, the conversation was good. He, he kind of gave me like a picture on what's going on in his life. Kind of like letting me know that this is a little bit of a busy time for him because he's moving house and he's doing a lot of things pretty much. And it kind of felt like he was letting me in, but like I still didn't feel like it kind of felt like he was talking to me like his girlfriend, but it still didn't feel like he was, like I felt like I didn't know when I was going to see him again, that I didn't have a date with him, or like it was still up in the air. I just didn't know when I was going to see him.
Okay. So then what happened? That's when you run into his friend and start flirting?
Yeah, well, technically on that day I had already made, that night, Friday night, I would have preferred for him to, like, because he's busy, maybe said, "Hey, come hang, let's watch TV," or something like that would have been, like, ideal for me, but he didn't do that, so I ended up just going with the girls to go to a bar.
Right.
And have drinks, and then, the bar had 3,000 people, if I can say that, and I just so happened, and I had a lot of eyes on me, but just this one guy kind of took my interest, and just kind of talking to him, and it turns out that, hey, he's actually close friends with this guy, and that's when I was like, okay, that's my cue to exit, and I texted him so that I could tell him myself, and he could hear from me first. But he didn't respond. So Saturday morning, he didn't say anything. I texted him.
Wait, how did you find out that was his friend?
So while we were talking with this guy, I was kind of saying, hey, like he was kind of talking about like us going to a different place that night. And I was like, no, I don't think I can stay out till that late because I have yoga in the morning. And he was like, where do you go to yoga? And I was like, I go to this gym. And he was like, oh, my friend goes there. He's from, Africa. And I'm like, oh, where? And then he tells me, and then I didn't even ask him, and then he pulls out his phone to show me a picture of him and this guy, and that's how I recognized that, oh, he's talking about the guy that I went on a date with, that I am excited about, and I don't want to ruin things with him, so I abandoned the connection that I was having that night.
And you ran into him where?
It was like a speakeasy bar / club kind of setup. It's like 45. Look, this guy didn't know that I was gonna go out.
Hold on.
Yeah,
so and you're being 100% honest about this.
Yeah.
Well, it sounds. I'm gonna be honest with you. It sounds like you're bullshitting me. It sounds like you knew that was his friend, and then you flirted with him intentionally because you wanted more attention from the guy you're currently seeing.
I appreciate you calling that out, because when I spoke to my friend was like, what if this guy sent his friend to test you? I was like, no, this guy that didn't even know that I was going to go out. And like, it was such a last minute thing. And I didn't even go to my typical area. Like, I didn't go to my downtown. I went 45 minutes drive away. And like, yeah, like the most, like, the worst case scenario, who happens to bump into their guy's best friend?
Well, even this part of like, oh, I go to this gym. Hey, my friend goes to that gym. Sounds made up.
And that's why, like, I do think I am a spiritual girl, and I do have a spiritual interpretation of it on my side of things. So I do believe that, I don't know, like, whatever happened definitely happened for a reason. It probably saved me. I think I'm lucky that I was able to find out that this guy is actually this close with this guy. But like, I don't know. But I don't know. Yeah, I can see how it sounds sus. but that's exactly how it happened.
Okay,
Like
all right.
100%.
So you tell him that, and then he says it's no big deal.
No, so when when I sent him a text, because I was like, hey, this happened, small world, I bumped into somebody I kind of messed up. I said that on the text because I wanted to force myself to like come clean with him when I
Right.
see him. And then so we did eventually see each other on Tuesday. And on that Tuesday, initially he didn't want to hear anything from me. He didn't want to see me. He didn't want to talk to me again. And I was like, well, that's unfair. Like, you can't just write me off. I deserve you to hear my side of the story. Like, what did your friend say? And he's like, look, this is my best friend. He's not gonna lie to me. And I was like, okay, well, like, what's going on? Like, what are you upset about? He's like, well, this guy says that you singled him out in the entire club and went to him to talk to him. And I was like, I didn't do that. Like, I'm a girl. Like, guys talk to me. I don't go to guys. And he was like, well, I could see you doing that because you're a bubbly girl. Like, I can see you doing that. I was like, well, I didn't do that. So we end up arguing about me insisting that I didn't approach his friend, and him saying his friend said you approached him. Anyway, and then I said, you know what, look, it doesn't even matter. Like, it sucks that this is how a relationship is starting because obviously it's messy. And I was like, I'm sorry. Like, I'm sorry I flirted with your friend. Like, I messed up. And then I also give him a scenario. I was like, well, technically, if it wasn't your friend, we wouldn't be having this conversation because you wouldn't know, and I'm a single girl. Technically, it's okay for me to go out and talk to some people because I'm single. I'm open to meeting, the guy I'm gonna spend the rest of my life with. And he's like, yeah, you're right. And it's only been 1 week between you and I, so no hard feelings. We can just be friends. And I was like, well, why friends if you and I were exploring something real, and why put away like what we want to start based on this little hiccup? Like, how do we rebuild? And I talked to him about how I hate the cancel culture, how like he's just ready to discard me for like, I can see how this looks like a red flag, but technically in the dating market, this is how we date in this country. So like, why am I being penalized for the way we do things? Anyway, so he then like iced me out for like 3 weeks, didn't talk to me, didn't text me. I didn't see him. We go to the same gym. And in that 3 weeks, I always kind of looked to see if he was around because he knows my schedule. He knows what I do at the gym or when I do it. I don't know his schedule. And then out of nowhere, he kind of just shows up and he texts me. He's like, hey, we should talk. I'm like, okay. And then it's like a little coffee date, and he's kind of like telling me how he doesn't trust me, how he's worried that I like attention, and that, I'm not loyal, and that, and I'm kind of like convincing him that I am loyal. I don't usually do that. If I'm in a relationship, I don't go around looking for other people's attention. I'm not even a club girl. I was just out that night because I was feeling alone and rejected by him because he didn't ask me for a date. I thought he was going to ask me on a date, that sort of thing. And I'm kind of happy and excited that he's back because I was hoping for it, if not praying for it. I think I've been praying for it, but I'm worried. I'm worried about his intentions. I'm worried about, like, is he gonna, like when I told my friend about it, my friend was like, oh, be careful. He's not gonna try to run you over. And then his friend is gonna try to run you over too. Like, and I'm like, I don't think that's the case because we have, I don't think it's the case, but you just don't know what you don't know.
So what's the question?
So the question is like, what do you think? Do you think I should give him a chance? Do you think he's legitimate? Do you think I should run for my life? Do you think I'm a red flag? He's a red flag? Do you think this is enough red flags for me to exit stage left? Do you think it's worth me giving it a chance? Like,
right. So with whether his intentions, you have to. Time will tell. You don't have enough data. Y'all only been talking for a week. Now, if he was talking to me and he hired me as a coach, I would tell him that you're a red flag because you need attention. Right. So you didn't get the attention from him, so you say, I'm gonna get it from somewhere. Those are the women who are dangerous because they don't move with any kind of code of conduct or principles. It's all feeling based. So if y'all were in a relationship and he didn't give you attention, you probably would still seek it somewhere else.
I mean, a relationship is different.
No,
versus
no,
talking
no.
stages.
It's not. It is, but that doesn't mean that if you have that need now, you will have that need in a relationship. The need doesn't disappear because the label has changed.
I mean, the only reason I seeked attention elsewhere is because he wasn't giving me, and in the initial
Right, but guess what?
stages,
Someone who is more developed, they wouldn't need the attention to begin with. They would want it. They would want it from him, but then they would be like, they didn't get that, bums me out, but I'll be all right. That's what would happen. You were like, okay, I'm not getting it from here. Where else can I get it from?
I mean, I was just distracting myself.
Right. That's the flaw.
At the end of the day,
That's the red flag. Distracting yourself. You can't sit with yourself.
I mean, sit for what? Like, it's just been 1 week though, and I'm an anxious attachment. Like, and I
That's not a
self-disclose. I was
that's
like,
that's
I
not
need
a that's not an
assurance.
excuse. That's not an excuse. No. Anxious attachment is not a cute personality trait. It's a problem that you need to solve. It's not like, oh, I'm anxious attached, so you gotta give me reassurance. No, that's also what you just said is also a big red flag. Because that's you being like, it's not my fault. I'm just anxiously attached. So now it's your responsibility to not make me a problem. No, that's a big problem. Again, the more you talk, the more you are confirming how big a red flag this is. Right?
I
So
see that.
so that is a problem. That is somebody that me as a man, I wouldn't trust it. Once I see a woman needs attention, all women like attention. Needing it is completely different. So if I see that you need attention, meaning like if you don't get it from me, you're gonna find another. That's when you start posting on social media and posting like cute selfies and posting on your story. You looking good. You're trying to get attention from someone. That's a need for validation. That is a need for external supply. That is stage 1 behavior, right? So that is going to
I
be
don't
ultimately.
even do that. Like, I don't even like post.
I'm
on
giving
social
I'm
media
giving
like
you
that.
I'm
Doesn't-
giving you examples. Though there's
Yeah,
many
right.
ways to do it. I'm giving you examples of how some people do it. Other people do it in different ways, right? So you do fall into the category of someone who needs attention. Now you can certainly improve this and work on this. This isn't a judgment of your character. Everyone kind of starts off in that place. Now the way for you to improve is for you to like accept what I'm saying, and then be like, well, I don't want to be like that. I actually would rather be the type of woman who, if the man doesn't give me attention, yeah, I cannot like that. There's nothing wrong with you not liking that.
Coach,
But-
let me ask you this question.
Go ahead.
You know, like, we are living in the day of have your options open. If
You're
things
living
are not
you're living in the day of that. You're thinking that because the culture is doing something, you by default must do it as well. I don't live that way. I date one person at a time. Because I do what I want. Hold on. I do what I want to do. I don't do what the culture does.
yeah,
I follow my own principles, right? That I made for myself. Because I know who I am and what's important to me. I don't default. I don't look around and say, what's everybody else doing? Everybody else doing? Okay, that's what we're all doing? All right, I guess I'll do it too. That's what you're doing.
so here's the thing, like, typically dating coaches will say, hey, like, have options,
Right.
have a roster.
Right.
That's what I was developing. Why am I being
No.
penalized for developing my roster?
Because it's not a good thing to do. Listen, you said that's what the culture is doing. Does the culture look like it leads to people being in happy relationships?
No.
Right. And you know why that is? Because of the fucking culture. So you're basically saying the same culture that's creating bad relationships, let me follow what it's telling me to do. Right. You
So
have to
we
go
must not-
against
how
the
do
culture.
I-
When
how
everyone
do I
else
manage?
goes left, you must go right. That's just the way to live life. Most people don't do things in the proper way. The culture historically has always been a bad thing. Now, you just have to grow as a person, right? You have to grow as a person. It's very possible, but it's like you have to want to accept what I'm saying, which it sounds like you are. It sounds like you're actually getting the gears are running, right? So that's good. Because if you were like very resistant to this, you would be cooked, right? But considering that you are receptive to what I'm saying, that's hope, right? You can absolutely grow. You just need to know what that process looks like. There's too much to go into on this call. So if you want coaching, reach out to me for that. But this is going to be something where big picture is you have to find a way to like learn yourself, know yourself, so you're not defaulting to what the culture is saying, what your friends are saying, what other people are saying. You need to know who you are. You have to develop a sense of self. That's the number one thing, okay? A deeper grounded identity, a sense of self, meaning you get so much clarity on who you are, it doesn't matter what other people are doing because you already know what your path looks like, right? 2, you have to be able to make yourself feel good by yourself. That doesn't mean that you can't allow other people to make you feel good, but if you don't get that from other people or from the outside, you can always make yourself feel good inside. That same way that you felt good when you flirted with that guy and he gave you attention, you can make yourself feel that exact same way by yourself. When you do that, you no longer need it. Until you're able to do that, you're going to need it. And when you need that, you can't need and choose simultaneously. If you need a man to give you attention, if you need a man to give you love and affection, you can't choose one. Because need creates urgency, and urgency is the father of bad decisions. When you got to make a decision quick, you got to speed it up, make a decision, you make bad decisions. When you can take your time, you make wiser decisions, right? A very important decision to make is who you get in a relationship with. If you speed that, you are going to be in a bad situation, okay? The last thing I'm going to tell you is the anxious attachment is going to be a problem, right? Because the big thing with anxious attachers is they can't handle ambiguity, right? They cannot handle ambiguity. They can't handle when there's no certainty. They can't handle when they don't have 100% clarity on the situation. That's why you were being so anxious when you went those 2 days without talking to him. You can't handle not knowing. That's a skill you have to cultivate. When you start healing your anxious attachment, you start to become more comfortable not knowing. It's that need to know that's the problem. It's that need to know that caused you to go out. Like, I need to know you're in this. And this is just a week-long connection. It's too early to know. It's too early for certainty. Certainty comes over time. But this need to know becomes a problem because it makes you so anxious that you can't handle it. And then you start making decisions and saying things and doing things you otherwise will regret. Okay? So that's the big picture of the work that has to be done. It's very possible for you to do that work, right? I can't go into all the steps right now because that would take the rest of this call. But again, if you or anyone else wants your 1-hour coaching call, this icon right here, hit that button at the bottom of the screen, shoot me a message. I'll send you a link to book your call. Prices go up at the end of the month, so I will book soon. Okay? But that's what you would need to work on, love. All right?
Okay, thanks, Coach. Appreciate your time
No problem,
and
dear.
insights. Thank
Absolutely.
you.
You take care. All right. That was a good call. I think that she just didn't know, right? I do think she was bullshitting about how she met Buddy, though. I do think she was bullshitting about that. I do think that would be an anxious woman thing to do, too. Like, oh, I'm going to go flirt with your friend. Make you a little mad. And it's like, if you want me, come get me. But you know the price that you pay. You're amazing at this. Truly appreciate you, love. I do think that's a little bullshit, but I'm going to forgive that. I'm going to forgive that part. Everything else, she seemed receptive. That is someone who absolutely can grow if she decides to. If she applies everything we just said, she'll be in a much better place. She seems like an attractive woman. She'll be in a much better place. A much better place, but you can't avoid the work. She wasn't. This happens to me all the time, random coincidences. So because that's happened to you, it means it 100% happened to her. Is that your logic? That's your logic, Steph? Rhetorical question. You don't have to answer that one, but I just wanted to get you to reflect a little bit. The woman in the chat saying, so she was supposed to just wait around, missed the whole point, missed the entire point. I didn't see anyone say that, but yeah, missed the entire point. All right, love. If that actually happened, listen, it's possible. That actually happened, you got it. But everything else I said, you should pay attention to. Don't miss the forest from the trees, okay? Everything else I said, take that serious. I like what you said about knowing yourself. Yeah, identity work is incredibly important. Do you once a cheater, always a cheater? No, people can change. You could be fat and then skinny. Be broke and then get money, right? It doesn't magically not apply to people who cheat. Sniper mode on the BS today, right? I'm a 5'5", 40-year-old guy struggling to get a date. Yikes. You in the gym? Listen, if you're under 5'8", so 5'7" and below, you can't not be in the gym. You can't not. If you're over 6'2", do what you want. If you're under 5'8", the gym is not a suggestion anymore. It's a non-negotiable. If you can't grow vertically, grow horizontally. Get wider. Not fat either, just wider. Do you feel like you've helped more women or men with relationship issues? Just curious. It depends, Mark, because it's like on this live, it's 70% women, right? But my content, my videos are for men and they go viral all the time. So it's like, it depends. I would say more men because of the virality of my content. This live brings in between 200 to 500 people. I mean, it's more than that, right? We got 278 people in here right now, but it's like people constantly leave and then other people come in. So there's probably 1,500 people who have seen my face today on this live. Yeah, that's just for today. I'm a psychic medium, so there's that. Yeah, okay. I don't know about that one. Smart man answering other people's questions in the chat if you're a psychic medium. Get your crystal ball out, right? Somebody asked, is their ex coming back? I need you to answer that question. Hannah wants to know when she's getting married. Eva wants to know if the guy she's currently dating, if that's going to work out. So let's give you the floor. Do you think bringing a gift on the first date, such as flowers or something, is a good idea? Not first date. So you got to think about it. Guys have asked me that question before, and I'm like, if I was a woman and you brought me flowers on the first date, I wouldn't feel special. I would feel like you just do that on first dates. Because you don't know anything about me. And you're getting me gifts. So you're getting me gifts because I'm pretty. But that would mean you get all pretty women gifts. So now, if it was like the second or third date, I think that lands better because it's like it would imply that, oh, I like you, so now I'm giving you special treatment because I've gotten to know you and have determined that fucking with it, right? Can you answer my question about, please? Rephrase your question, love. I think I missed it. It's just too many. I can't go and find your question out specifically. There's too many questions in the chat. Yeah, that's why I asked, because I know this is mostly women in here. Mark, bro, when I first did this live, when you join this live, the little thing that my face that pops up with the message, it still says men. It was for men only, and I kept telling women it was for men only. But women kept joining because they focus more on relationships and they're more relational than men are generally. So this shit is like candy to them. So there was no avoiding women being here. There's men here too. They just aren't active in the chat for real. They're just watching. But men are also encouraged to call in, obviously. Can you do a drawing for one pro bono person per month? Can't do it. Can't do it. Can't do it. You can split that payment on PayPal. So when you get that coaching offer, you can split that payment. You can Klarna that shit. Again, if y'all want y'all's 1 hour coaching call, this icon right here, hit at the bottom of the screen. Shoot me a message. I'll ask you about your situation. If I can help you, I will send you a link to book your call. Prices go up at the end of the month. Okay? So if you've talked to me about it, if y'all have been DMing me about it, and you saw the price and you were like, not yet, just know that number is increasing. Do you think it's a good idea to bring a gift on the... Oh, I already answered that. I'll wait for the Lord to answer me. I don't know what spirit she's communicating with. What color shirt will Coach wear tomorrow? All right. Yeah, we gotta know everything now. We got a future teller in the chat. I'm gonna take advantage of that. I don't know about y'all. I'm trying to see what the future's like. Depends on how long it took to get the first date. That's a good point. That's a good point. Like if you were talking to each other and getting to know each other for a while, that makes sense. That's a good nuanced point. I agree with that. Yeah, if it's someone that you've known or have had been building a connection with, y'all just haven't gone on a date for real, sure. But if it's like a dating app situation or someone you just met and you very quickly made things romantic, that's different. It's just a nice gesture. Not necessarily. So you have to look at it like this. Some women don't like that shit. It's like a turnoff. So it's more risky, right? It doesn't really do anything for you. It's not a magical, this woman's going to like me now. So you're already not really getting much of a benefit from it. Because if she likes you, she would have liked you without the flowers, right? But it also can act as a turnoff, meaning some women are very sensitive to being love bombed, and some view that kind of behavior as love bombing. So you might lose them because of it, right? So think of it as it's just judge it as a quality of the decision. The best decisions or investment have maximized upsides, immense upsides, very little downside. In this situation, it's flipped. There's no real upside because flowers are not going to make her... It's not going to be the determining point whether or not she likes you. But it does have downside. Thus, it's not a great decision. You can answer men's questions by including the inverse in the woman's answer. Right. I actually make content like that when I talk about these stories in my content. There'll be a woman asking the question, but then I'll take the man's point of view and make the video for the man. There's naturally going to be lots of women in the chat of a man that's attractive. I appreciate you, love. It says my message is a community violation when I write for the coaching session. You have to do that in my DM. So this icon, hit that button below and then shoot me a message. That's how you get access to the coaching session. Do you think there's a specific color that is attractive to men for us to wear on first date? No, I don't think that matters. I don't think that matters at all. Are dating apps worth it? No. No, they are not. Is it okay to give your number to a man who you like, or should you wait for him to ask? I messed up due to fear. What do you mean you messed up due to fear? Yeah, I wouldn't give your number to him if he didn't ask for it. That puts you in your masculine. A lot of anxious women have this problem because they try to, again, they don't like not knowing, so they try to force clarity. A lot of anxious women will make the move first because it's like, I need to know. I'm just going to approach you, tell you I like you, so that you could just go ahead and give me clarity on whether or not this is something here. I don't think women care about muscle like that. Well, Hempathy, I don't know if you're the person to ask, right? You say you haven't had much experience. So you're in your head thinking about this. As a guy who has a little bit of muscle and have had actual experience, I would say that's incorrect. Women typically don't like the bodybuilding muscle. But don't be fooled. Getting in good shape does lead to more attention from the opposite sex. Generally. I hear that, but the women that don't like men being nice generally is a major red flag. No, that's why I brought up, Isaac, the specific point of like some women viewing that as love bombing, potentially. A lot of women are very suspicious for love bombing, even though, and they don't have the discernment of knowing when it's love bombing and when it's just somebody just being nice or just being chivalrous, right? Talk to women like that. I was like, it's love bombing, right? He brought me flowers and all this kind of stuff. He's trying to love bomb me because they're reflecting on the guy who did love bomb them, and he did a lot of the same similar things. Do you think the red pill community helps men navigate relationships better? No, it does the complete opposite. What the red pill will help you do is be more attractive to damaged women. The red pill essentially tells men to behave more like an avoidant so that he can more effectively attract anxious, insecure women. Works in the short term, does not work long term. Can get you a lot of ass, for sure. But relationships, it will be a detriment to those. They mowing the heck out of that grass, right? It's not even my people. That's some people next door. Are you a second guess right now? Sure. Sure. How do you differentiate anxiety, pushing for quick answers from actual discernment? How do you feel when you're pushing for quick answers? You know what I mean? You'll feel the anxiety in your body. Just as a general rule, if you're someone who's anxiously attached, this isn't going to solve it for you. But as a general rule, if you feel that anxiety, whatever it's telling you to do, don't do it. You have to make a rule for yourself where whenever I feel this way, I don't do I take no action, make no attempts at communication whenever I feel this feeling. I can do or say whatever it is I want to say when I'm not feeling this way. So I can make a note to say or do this thing once this feeling goes away, but I can't do it while I feel it, right? And then you'll find that if you follow that rule, when you no longer feel that way, you won't want to take the action or communicate anymore because it was the anxiety making you want to do it in the first place. It makes everything urgent. And the anxious attachment makes everything like it's a life or death situation. Like, I need to know right now. That's kind of iffy who they chose before, what they have tolerated, what they have carried over. I mean, you can look at it as like a filtering mechanism if you want to, Isaac. As I wouldn't. It's also not necessary, man. Like that's the beginning. Like think about the women's psychology, Isaac. You starting out by giving a lot. You're setting a high bar on the first date. Hey, chill out. Let things get better as things go. Pace yourself. You bring gifts on the first date. That's the baseline now. So now just going out on a regular date ain't gonna do it for Shorty because she's like, where's my gift? I don't understand. Where's the gift at? Oh, no gift this time? Okay, well, I guess we can just spend time together, but that's weird. I do things where there's always another surprise, baby. There's always another surprise coming. Do you truly believe there are men left who actually want a relationship? Sure. There's plenty of men who want relationships. You're just not dating them. My work is to take all those guys who you said I didn't feel a spark with and then turn them into me. Because they're likely not bad guys, they're just naive. They don't know any better. You not feeling a spark with them wasn't really about them. It was quite literally a skill issue. How many days should you wait for a response? What's the context? Did you just meet this person? Do you think there's a baseline for how to tell if someone is actually intentional with you? In consistency of investment over time. You just have to observe the person over time, which I know anxious people don't like. I get it, but there's no other way. You have to observe the person over time. Whoa, there we go. Love feels like a scam right now. Why is that? Why does it feel like a scam? What has been your experience, Big Ego? Why does it feel like a scam for you? I had an argument with my hubby. I found out he's communicating with his lover. Now we are not talking. Oof. That's rough. Sorry to hear that, love. After first date, how long to wait for the next contact or response? After a first date? I feel like they should be making contact within 48 hours. For sure. Actually, I think of a divorce. Yeah, you should probably divorce that. He has a lover, right? That's why there's so much work that has to be done with relationships, because historically, like you see like poets writing about like their passionate love that they're experiencing. That type of passion historically was only found outside of the marriage. They were talking about like their mistress, not their wife or husband. Passion historically has been found outside of the marriage. or relationship, not within it. So people are expecting passion to be within the relationship and the marriage, and it's like, that's a rare outcome. They need people to understand what they're actually asking for. They're asking for like a happy marriage. That's rare. Achievable, but it's going to require a lot of work from you because you got to build that. You got to build that. You got to be intentional. You're likely not going to just fall into it. People think they look at it like they look at the American dream, like, oh, everyone's going to come to America and get rich. You can. It's a rare outcome, though. You're going to have to work for it, right? Same thing with these happy relationships and marriages. That is a rare outcome. So you're going to have to work for it, right? I think it's always been rare. To be honest with you, you can make an argument it's rare today, sure. But I think it's always been rare. I think it's always been rare. When I think on like the marriages I know of personally, I could think of 2 happy ones. And those happen to be in my family. Why is it rare to be happy in a marriage? I mean like madly in love and keeping passion over the long term. Because passion is partially predicated on the unknown. The more you are known, the harder it is to preserve passion. Because passion rests upon the foundation of tension. Tension is the gap between known and unknown. When a man is making eye contact with you and just looking at you, right, and not saying anything, that creates a lot of tension. Why? Because you don't know what's on his mind. What is he thinking right now? What is he going to do? Right? That creates tension. But if you know him like the back of your hand, that's going to create less tension. Right? It's going to create less tension because you know him so well. And when there's less tension, there's less passion. Right? You find the lover outside of the marriage because there's tension there again. You don't know that person. There's still something left to discover. Which is why I tell guys they want to preserve passion. A big thing they have to do is to keep growing as people. Keep growing. Therefore, there's more things to discover about you. And it's also why I tell guys not to be so fucking chatty. Stop talking so much. Stop revealing so much of your inner world. Keep something for yourself. I had this problem. My past relationship, any thought I had, I'm sharing it. Now, I hold back a little bit. Not in a defensive way. It's just not everything has to be expressed. Leave some stuff for you. Leave some questions left unanswered. That's wisdom. Your heart posture needs to be in the right place. You're not doing this because you're being defensive. You're doing this to preserve that tension, right? There's a good book on this called Mating in Captivity by Esther Perel. She's a therapist. She talks about a lot of problems that couples have, especially with passion, is either because they spend too much time together or not enough time together. The delicate balance is spending enough time together without overdoing it. Right? So guys, like, they'll get on dating apps and even when I was like helping guys with dating apps, which I still do, even though I don't recommend dating apps, but they'll get on dating apps, they'll tell everything about, I'm into this, that, I like this, I went to this place. I'm like, no, fuck all that. Leave some mystery. You know how more attractive it would be? Like, y'all know that I act, right? I'm an actor as well. I don't tell women I date that. We'll go on like 3 dates. I don't mention it. And then maybe she calls me one day and I say, oh, I can't talk right now. I'm on set. She's like, on set? I'm like, yeah, for a film. She's like, what the fuck you... That's very attractive. What else do I not know about him? You see what I'm saying? You have to do a little bit of that. That's just game. You got to do a little bit of that. But people want this, like, I want to be able to tell... I want my partner to... A lot of people, when I make my content, it kind of takes the wind out of their sails because they want the fantasy connection that exists in their head. So some guys heard what I just said and they got annoyed with it because they're like, well, I want to be able to tell my woman everything and her to be my best friend and me to be able to cry in front of her and be vulnerable, because why should I not be able to do that? Okay, I agree with you. That would be nice, but we live in the real world. That's going to have an effect. That's going to have an effect. The effect is tension is lowered and attraction is also going to be lowered. That's just what's going to happen. Right? Don't share your highlight reel in 5 minutes. Right. Let you, who you are, women too, let who you are unfold. Don't offer a monologue of who you are. Let it unfold like a novel over time. Let her or him be like anxious to turn the next page and read it. Don't just give a speech. This is who I am. Kills attraction. Okay. Blowing your load effectively. Too early. My downfalls are not that interesting. Okay, well then you need to become more interesting. You're going to get the equivalent. I typically date very dynamic women because I'm a very dynamic man. Women who I date, they typically have a lot of interests. They can talk, add a lot to a conversation. Usually if I date a woman who isn't like that, I get bored very quickly. So if you're not interesting, you're also going to date a woman who's boring. Interesting women would like to date interesting men, right? So you got to make yourself more interesting. Read good books. Go travel. Pick up hobbies. Women don't want to be the ones beating the weight of support, from what I've seen, or bearing the weight of support. Yeah, they're not built for it, man. Not long term. They can do it short term because nature abhors a vacuum and the feminine can fill any space, right? But she gonna resent you. Women are gonna feel anything that you're lacking. So if you're lacking finances, she'll feel that gap generally, but she'll resent you for it if she don't want to play that position. If she don't want to play that position, she'll resent you for it. If you're not leading, she'll lead. She'll do it, but she's gonna resent you for it, for forcing her to. Generally speaking. Men are expecting women to be partners the way women typically look for men to be. Right. That's like a bigger issue, Isaac. It's like men are expecting women to behave like men without, the sexual organ. I want her to be super loyal. Yeah, have some loyalty, but it's like they want her to be a woman of her word. They're expecting masculine characteristics from women, but then will also complain about a woman being masculine, right? You have to understand, if you want femininity, that comes with certain challenges. Femininity comes with certain challenges. You can have it both ways. You don't want a feminine woman? Okay, get a masculine one. But then it's going to be like you're dating your homeboy. You're probably not going to like that. Pick your poison. You dating a real feminine woman, she probably going to say some shit and then act like she never said it. Right? Because she's just expressing how she feels. She's not making like a declarative statement that holds up in the court of law. She's just expressing how she feels. That's how femininity works. That's how femininity works. You can't be mad at it. It's just how it works. Right? Are you familiar with Dr. Jordan Peterson? Absolutely. And it's all good. Get acquainted with your woman. Roll with it. It's all good within reason. Yeah, still have your boundaries. That's how femininity works, man. She gets emotional. That time of the month comes and she may get a little mean. Roll with the punches. Don't tolerate any and all disrespect. But you have to just know what you're signing up for. You gotta know what you're signing up for. Does your advice tend to align with his school of thought? I'll say there's some overlap, but I'm not an expert on Jordan Peterson's perspective. I know who he is. I have read his book, 12 Rules of Life. Watched a few YouTube videos. But other than that, can't tell you. He lost the plot years ago. I know he had like some issues. He started getting more political. Then he started having like health issues, some being psychological. Still, good ideas though. The clean your room idea was I definitely live by that one. That's that comes from like I think like Confucius, I want to say. So if you want to change the world, change the country. If you want to change the country, change the state. If you want to change the state, change the city. If you want to change the city, change the family. If you want to change the family, change yourself. I'm paraphrasing. But start with yourself. So Jordan Peterson observed that a lot of young people were out here trying to change the world, but their room was dirty. It's like, how could you possibly, you can't even handle this small task. What makes you think you're going to change the whole world? You can't even handle the small task of keeping your house clean. And you want to go change? No, start with that. Start with your circle of influence first. Make yourself better, and then influence your circle of influence, the people who look up to you, your family, your friends. That's how you make a big impact. It's kind of like with political stuff, right? Like people want to vote for the president, but they won't vote for municipal elections. They won't vote in the local elections. You're trying to solve this big problem. Let's solve the small one first, because the small one leads to the big one. This is major. I genuinely see working out, home improvement, etc. Business moves, a transfer. Right. 100%. So a change in seemingly mundane things lead to a change elsewhere. 100%, yeah. I forgot, what was a football coach name? I forgot. I'm not a big sports guy, but I'm a big idea guy, no matter the domain. But his team won like a number of Super Bowls because he made little micro changes, such as like changing their socks, because he realized the socks that they were wearing was causing like their feet to hurt, or like warts or something like that. What's it called? Blisters. So just making that small shift change their performance. The little shit gets you to the big shit. Atomic Habits, right? See, y'all know about Atomic Habits. I read a book called Many Habits that came out a long time before Atomic Habits. And James Clear kind of learned about the concept, and then he wrote his book, which is now the king of the midwits. But again, if y'all want y'all's 1 hour coaching call, this icon right here, hit that button below, shoot me a message. I'll ask you about your situation. If I can help you, I will send you a link, or you can book your coaching call. Be advised that prices go up at the end of the month, okay? Behavioral consultancy I was going to work with in London, their whole thing is making small change, right? Professor told me to fix what's causing the messy room in the first place. Cleaner does nothing. Yeah, I agree with that too. Fix what is causing the issue in the first place. Very meta. But that still starts with you, though. That's the main point. The room is not the big deal. It's not nothing magic about cleansing your room. It's just symbolic. You start with yourself first. All right, last minute questions before I get out of here. I gotta hit the gym. Last minute questions. All right, none? Cool. If you're new here, make sure to follow. I go live every day at 12 p.m. Eastern Time and 9 p.m. Eastern Time. Again, if you want your 1 hour coaching call, shoot me a message. I'll be in touch. If you want to rewatch these lives, I stream them on YouTube. Link in bio for the YouTube. Appreciate the mods. Appreciate the chat. I will see you all tonight.